Of Route 664, the road to human kindness. I'm Les Winston. I'm the national spokesperson for socialsecharity.org. That's a project of the Endow American Network Foundation. The mission of the Endow American Network Foundation is to increase the public's awareness of social security, how to use social security devices. Social security, a word that you've never heard probably, and you're going to hear it here on a regular occasion because that's what we're trying to promote. We want you to understand what that brand stands for. It's a way for you to get income. It's a way for you to lower your taxes, and it's a way to do something really good for the community. It's a supplement to Social Security. It's a way for you to increase retirement income. It's a very powerful planning tool, and those tools, they're basically, the public is really not using them much, and we are trying to get the public aware of it and to use the services of professional philanthropic advisors. Professional philanthropic advisors are those advisors in the community who know how to use the tax planning and income planning benefits of those social security devices. We want to endow America. We want to change the country from being 30 trillion in debt to 30 trillion in NGO endowment. It's going to take a while to do that, but if you start today, the trip of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. And that's what our intentions are with this project of Endow American Network Foundation, with the radio program that you're listening to, and to the webcasts that you're seeing on community newspapers. Part of our work has always been to support the arts. We want to make sure that music and the wonderful folks in the field of entertainment are supported properly. They can be supported by philanthropic giving. They can also be supported by record sales. They can also be supported by, people liking their work. We're joined today by Alan Chapell. Alan is a very diversified individual. How are you, Alan?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me, Les.
Yes, it's good to have you on board. You're a musician from a very young age.
I started playing when I was 3. I played my first concert at 4. So yeah, I was pretty young.
Trumpet and piano?
I grew up playing trumpet and piano, and now just mostly sing and play the piano.
Okay. And I've never played an instrument. I sing, but I had never played an instrument. I whistle, but playing an instrument has always been very hard for me. I guess my brain doesn't function that way. I'm more analytical. You're also an attorney.
I am. I work with tech companies on privacy and human rights issues.
Right. What do you like better?
I think my passion is music. I'm fortunate in that I really enjoy what I do in order to make a living. Mm-hmm. But if you ask me, I would say music.
Okay. And the work that you're doing now, it's very topical in a way. Is that purposeful on your part? Are you trying to send messages with your music? Is it part of your thought process?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm set out to throw out a particular message, but I do think that I'm influenced by what's going on in the world. And you have to write about what you're feeling. You have to let the muse sort of dictate what you decide to write about. And so that's really what I've been doing.
Your latest album, Cinco, is that right?
Cinco. And then we're about to release Two Fishes, the next album, tomorrow.
Two Fishes?
Two Fishes.
You got to tell me how you got that name.
Well, the Two Fishes are my daughter, Kylie, who is 23, and my daughter, Rose, who is 20 months.
Okay.
And so, me and my life were very different when Kylie was 20 months than things are right now. And so the album is mostly the juxtaposition about their upbringing.
Okay. I know that you're very in support of Nicaragua. Your current wife is from Nicaragua, if I'm not mistaken, right?
My wife, Maria, is from Nicaragua. We got married in Granada down in Nicaragua, and I've spent a lot of time down there over the years.
What are you doing to help there?
Well, we had done a couple of shows supporting a charity called Mentor Solidarios, which mostly provides young Nicaraguan women with school tuition. So people who couldn't afford to go to a good school, we provide the tuition, or they provide the tuition.
And why is that so important to you?
Well, I'm always looking for ways to help in Nicaragua, and they've really had a tough go, particularly over the last few years. And so the thing that we wanted to do was to be helpful, because it's my wife was very lucky. She's been very fortunate. She's worked hard, but she's been very fortunate in that she came from a family that was able to send her to the American school, and then she went to Stanford and MIT, and so there's a lot of young girls there who just don't have that opportunity. And what we're trying to do is to give them that opportunity, because there's a lot of smart young women down there who, if given the opportunity, will really shine.
And you're using your music to do that?
Well, we've done a couple of benefit concerts in support of that, and so we've raised some money for them, and we've also donated a bit on our own. Okay.
So a couple of the titles in the Cinco album stand out: "Spin," "Shout," "On Rooftop." Tell me a little bit about those.
So "On the Rooftop" back in the 70s in New York City, believe it or not, you were prohibited by the cabaret laws from dancing in public, and artists and musicians were actually, in some cases, arrested for attempting to dance and perform in public. And so what a lot of them do is they would take to the rooftops and throw these crazy rooftop parties in some of the abandoned buildings on the Lower East Side in the East Village. So they were just a couple of steps away from the police, and they were able to kind of have their own artistic expression that way.
And the police didn't bother you when you were on the rooftop?
Well, in an abandoned building, sometimes it was hard for them to get up there.
Okay. You have your own now rooftop dining and rooftop entertainment is really a hot thing. So it hasn't changed much.
It's funny, that's fairly recent. When I first moved to New York, 25 years ago, most landlords did everything they could to make sure you didn't go on the roof.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess they were worried about people falling off. So something to do with that. So tell me a little bit about Spin. Where does that come from? Well,
Spin is really about the 24/7 news cycle. And, regardless of what your political beliefs are, because I've watched most of the stations, it's really about spinning something around somebody's particular beliefs and then reinforcing that belief system. And I think that's a problem here, because we aren't talking to each other enough. We're only talking to people whose belief systems support what we believe. And that's just not a recipe for a productive or happy society.
So when you're putting together, are you writing the lyrics and the music as well?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So I noticed I guess there's a kind of a Beatles influence in one of them. I don't remember which one it was yet right now, but
probably almost all of them.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it in I guess, I don't know whether it's chord changes or what, but somewhere in there it's very reminiscent of Beatle music, and I guess that's one of the things that makes it hard for amateurs to when they think about writing music. You don't know what's original anymore. What comes out. How do you blend that how do you blend those thoughts into your music? And I think we're going to have a sample of it. Are we going to? Wanda, do we have anything queued up? Okay, good. Yeah, because I want the folks to hear it's very, very good. The soundtracks that I heard were great.
Well, thank you. And I think the key is to draw from a number of different inspirations, and you kind of mix it up into the soup, and it hopefully becomes your own. But the other thing that's really important is you almost have to turn off that part of your brain that says, oh, this sounds like a Beatles song or a Coldplay song or a Radiohead song. And because it's really easy to get there and to think that you're sounding like somebody else. And usually if you're influenced by somebody, there's going to be some thought there, but you just got to push through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the Beatles were influenced by Chuck Berry and Buddy Holly. So it's constant. I guess there's a ton of variation, and there's a million different variations of what you can do with music. But still, what sounds good sounds good. So you kind of take those sound good feelings and put them into your own works. And
Yeah.
I noticed that you're on Spotify. I think that's where you're played mostly at this time.
Yeah, we're on all the major streaming services, but Spotify's been really good to us. We've had a couple of million streams of the 5 albums thus far, and hopefully Two Fishes does just as well. Yeah, Spotify's been very good to us.
Well, we're a show about philanthropy, and so we certainly commend the work that you're doing to support educating the young Nicaraguan women. That's a really important function in our society today to make sure that we are kind to others. That's what human kindness is all about. Route 664. In your practice as an attorney, do you have? I know that I guess you're in the cybersecurity or trademarking, that kind of area. Is that what your expertise is?
Yeah, it's more consumer privacy. So
Consumer
all these
privacy.
all these tech companies collect data about you, and I help companies understand what they can do with that in a way that's ethical.
That's good. We want it to be ethical. There's a question about when you're doing. You also have something with regard to Facebook. Didn't you have a piece that was written about Facebook? Which one was that?
We did, and on my fourth album, there was a song called "I Am Zuck," which was designed to be kind of a parody confessional of around Facebook and some of their data collection practices, and it's gotten a lot of popularity, and I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah. What was the title again?
I Am Zuck.
I am Zuckerberg. So, how do you deal with today in this political climate that we're in? They can shut you down for doing anything. When you say I am Zuck, does Facebook like that?
I'm not really sure. I know a lot of people who work there. I think the people that have heard the song think it's funny, and that's a lot of what my intention was. I wanted to shine a light on some of the things going on there, but also wanted to show a little bit of humor.
Good. So it's entertainment in its finest state. Songwriter, entrepreneurial, expert in matters that have to do with the legal aspect of protecting your property, your creative property. It's very nice to meet you, Alan. I certainly wish you a lot of success with regard to your music and spreading the word, and continue to do what you enjoy most.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate having you, and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
joining us. Thanks for joining us on Route 664, Road to Human Kindness.
Declare I was your crocodile. Once more, 'cause you are all I
What's the title of that one, Wanda? All I Need? Beautiful piece. That's the music of Alan Chapell. And I guess we're going to play more of that on Route 664 radio, right? All right. So, and it's always amazing to reach out to the artist and get to know him. Certainly, very interesting gentleman. We're joined now by another interesting gentleman, Richard Delvecchio. Richard is here in studio with us at the community newspapers. Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, you have to figure out which way we're going to look at this.
Okay.
I think we should look at each other.
Sure,
That way, I
sounds
get to see the reaction. It may not be the best shots up there, but
That's okay.
I don't. I'll get criticism
I
from
have
my
a face
spouse.
for radio anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. So, Richard,
Yes.
tell me a little bit about the Elks. I know you're very,
Yep.
very much involved with them, and this program, of course, is about philanthropy,
Correct.
public service, and the Elks are a public service organization.
For sure. They were founded in 1868, 153 years ago. And in that 153 years, they've donated over $4 billion to charity. Our main charities are academic scholarships. And from what I understand, we're second only to the U.S. government in academic scholarships each year. Then also veterans. And the Elks National Foundation supplies the local lodges with grants. You have to write the grant, come up with a project. And last year in Miami, we got $20,000 during Thanksgiving and Christmas to help the local homeless veterans.
That's great.
And we gave 40 female veterans with families who were homeless about 40 pounds of food each at Thanksgiving. Then at Christmas, those 40 women also got gift bags for Christmas for them and their children. And then 140 male veterans, homeless veterans, we gave boxes of toiletries, underwear, a whole set, 6 pairs of underwears, undershirts, socks, and gift cards for food, as well as the toiletries.
Well, so how does that make you feel when you are you involved in those projects directly?
Yes.
You work on it?
That's part of getting the grant.
Uh-huh.
The local lodge has to be participating. And a fellow, Captain Fred Jocka, he's a U.S. Army 81st Airborne veteran I was going to say World War II, kill me, of Vietnam. He's in charge of our military affairs here in Miami. And he's constantly bringing gift cards and toiletries that we collect on a weekly basis to the veterans locally. And then a couple of times a year, we write a grant and do something big for them.
That's great. That's
So,
good work. I'm glad to hear that. But you're also not only in service that way, you're also in service to the Japanese Garden here locally in Miami.
Yes. Yeah, it's a
me a
long
little bit
story.
about
I'll try to
that.
keep it short. But over many years ago, I got involved with the Japanese Garden through the Friends of the Japanese Garden, which is a nonprofit organization founded in 1984. And the purpose is to help the city promote and maintain the Japanese garden and promote the Japanese culture. So we produce 3 to 4 events a year at the garden, which are free to the public. We write a grant for that through the Developing Arts in the Neighborhood grant through Dade County.
Mhm.
And before COVID, we would do these events and we'd get anywhere from 500 to 800 people showing up at the garden for that day.
So where is the garden exactly?
It's right next to Jungle Island on MacArthur Causeway, 1104 MacArthur Causeway, right next to Jungle Island.
And what is it? Display of bonsai and that kind of that kind of Japanese.
Unfortunately, like the cherry blossom trees, they don't live in our climate, but we have shrubbery and trees that are similar to those in Japan, and we have trees that are cut in the shape of a bonsai tree, so it's pretty nice.
Okay.
Now, I haven't been there in over a year because of this COVID, so I don't know how well it's been kept, but the city owns and operates it.
Nothing worse than an overgrown bonsai tree.
Exactly.
So, all right. So you're in advertising pretty much.
Yes.
Okay. That's what you do, I guess, in your real life.
Right.
You've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, since 1985.
Good.
Advertising.
You have your own company?
Yeah. I have Rick Delvecchio Inc. And I do part-time now because I'm semi-retired, but I handle Palmetto Alfa Romeo and the Japanese Garden, of course. And I work with Mike Pollard, and his father started that agency
I know.
in
Mike,
74, right? It's the oldest agency in the city of Miami, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you're also a magician.
Yep. I'm a magician. I've been doing magic since 73 professionally. And it's a hobby that hopefully pays for itself. I make enough money to buy the props that I buy, but in the books and the videos. But I'm also a life member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians and the Society of American Magicians.
And are those nonprofits?
Yes, they are. We have our local ring. Each local club is called a ring in the International Brotherhood of Magicians, as of the linking rings from the trick. And we're a Florida nonprofit. And even we members go to hospitals, work with children's hospitals, and provide magic for the kids and veterans as well.
That's great. So, because this, the theme of our show is human kindness.
Right.
Route 664, the road to human kindness. And we've talked about three different areas of kindness that are generated from the community itself.
Right.
The Elks doing the work for the homeless veterans, which is really important.
Right.
Japanese Garden, which
promotes the Japanese culture.
Promotes Japanese culture, and then of course the Magician Society. Which so, do you have a magic show, a magic trick?
Yeah, I actually.
This is not America's Greatest Talent.
No.
I mean, you can move up to that if you want.
Life is a gamble.
Yes, it is.
But folks don't gamble.
I don't know if they're going to be able to see that on there. Let's see if you can get that on camera.
Is that okay? Can you see this? Okay, can I move that just like that?
Yeah, you got the on-air thing and then wait a little bit.
Life is a gamble, but folks, if you ever saw the 3 Shell game, in the streets of New York, they used to do it all the time. Don't do it. It's a ripoff. You'll lose a fortune. And I'm going to show you using 1 ball and 1 cup. Now, what I'd like you to do, I'm going to pass this cup around the screen. So
okay, thank you very much.
Take a look at that and make sure that it's solid.
Solid.
And then take a look at that ball. Make sure that's a solid. It's a little wool ball,
solid ball, right?
Drop it into the cup.
There you go.
Give it back to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I'm going to shake it up by here so the folks can hear it. You hear the ball in there?
Yes.
Now, when you turn the cup upside down, one thing happens: gravity forces the ball out.
Correct.
I place the cup there, and the ball is going to go down here into my pocket.
Right.
Now my hands are empty. The ball's in the pocket, but I am a magician, Louis. So where do you think the ball is? The pocket or the cup?
Right now?
Yeah.
Because you're a magician?
Yeah.
It's under the cup.
Under the cup. Wanda, you're way over there. What do you think? The pocket or the cup?
Well, I'd say it's with you.
The pocket. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that vote of confidence, Louis. I am a magician. Unfortunately, I'm not that good a magician. The ball is still in my pocket. Nothing's happening. Okay.
Okay,
but
good.
If we take the ball like this, make a magical pass, 1, 2, 3, and toss. That tossing motion.
Wait a minute now.
That tossing motion is called misdirection.
Whoa! What happened to that ball?
The ball now.
Whoa!
Right there under the cup.
That's really good.
And there is no trap doors or smoke and mirrors.
That was very good how you did that.
But watch this. Okay. Now, Louis, don't feel bad. He checked this cup out, but this cup does have a trap door. Nobody ever sees it. These things are made in Germany where they make the sham wows. The technology is unbelievable.
Really?
But if we take the ball like this, it goes from there. It pays to be Italian because I hit it in that big nose of mine. But the remarkable thing is if we place the ball in the pocket, as soon as it hits the pocket, another one appears right there under the cup. Okay.
That's amazing.
That's it. And that's basically, how magic works. And you don't want to gamble on that trick because
I have to ask you a question. Yeah. What do you think about this guy that keeps exposing all the magic tricks, how they're done? Do you think that's a good program?
Valentino is great. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell the people because it's such a nice crowd how I do it. I use 2 balls. Okay. I use this one here, and I use this one under the cup that I made a little bit bigger so everybody can see.
All right. That's
nice. Now, get
nice.
back to your question. Valentino came out with that show years ago, revealing the secrets of magicians. And actually, do you remember B. Moss from the Herald?
Yes, of course.
She passed away, but she interviewed me, and she asked me my opinion. And I said, listen, magicians was not supposed to reveal secrets, so that's bad. He's a magician. He's breaking a code. But as far as the magician's secret goes, it's like telling a kid there's no Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And do you really want to know that? No. And the secret isn't really the whole thing in magic. It's the presentation. I said, anybody could go into a music store and buy the songs and lyrics to My Way.
Right.
But how many can deliver it like Frank Sinatra?
That's correct.
And magic is the same way. It's all in the presentation.
You do right. It's great what you did. Fantastic. My guest is Richard Delvecchio. Richard is an advertising executive here in Miami for the long term, but also a servant in a lot of different ways, and a steward as the leader of some of these organizations that we're talking about.
Yeah, I was 2-time past president of our Elks Lodge, and now I'm on the board of trustees. And like I said, we write grants constantly and ask for donations to help the veterans. And in Florida, because each state has their own association, so the Florida State Elks, we have a camp up in Umatilla, Florida, and it's a 405-acre camp, and it's one of the nicest camps in the country, and that's from the Camp Association.
Mm-hmm.
And we send 1,000 kids a week to camp, whether they can afford it or not, free of charge. The 8th week, it's for veterans and their families.
That's great.
And it's all free. And the rest of the year, and that's funded by the Harriana Foundation in Florida, which was set up back in the 30s or 40s, I believe. And it was.
Is that an endowment?
Yes, it's an endowment from Harry and you know what? I don't know their last name.
That's all right.
Harry and Anna.
Well, this is the thing
wife.
that we talk about here on the program, and that is creating permanent funding
Right.
for things that are necessary in the community, and that's what we're all about. We want to build those with social security devices, and get people to understand how to use those. Those are charitable gift annuities, charitable remainder trusts, and pooled income funds. And if you're the head of an organization that relies on charitable giving or philanthropy, another way of stating it, but that's what we think is a good way for the organization to get supported long term.
Sure.
We can direct you to our website so
Fantastic.
that you can find out more about it. Go to socialcharity.org. I'm in awe of magicians.
Okay.
To me, I can do a card trick, and I do it pretty well.
Yeah.
It's a good presentation. People go, "Wow, that was really good."
Good.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, how long does it take you to train to do
Well,
a magic trick like
I
that?
mentored a young girl from the time she was 10 till she was 15 for 5 years. Every Sunday I'd go to her home. Then later on, when her and her father pushed her to compete, and she ended up winning the world championship in 2015 in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, and
wow,
there's 73 countries that are members of the International Brotherhood of Magicians. So she had to compete against a lot of folks, and she won the junior close-up championship. What was interesting, her father, I would kid her father, said, "You're a stage dad." And he goes, "No, I'm not." He goes, "This is going to help her get into an Ivy League school."
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? 2 years ago, she was accepted at Cornell University, and the admissions gentleman or person said, what did it was she was also a world champion dog handler. It was your dog handling, your magic award, and also while she was practicing magic, we would go to hospitals, Ronald McDonald House.
Fantastic. Yes.
And they did a nice story on her in Linking Ring right before she won the championship because they called The Magic of Healing as an article in the Linking Ring magazine. And, what was funny is she says, my dad was right, because she said, because she was a 4.1 average student at Ransom Everglades, which is one of the top prep schools in the country.
Yeah.
But the admission said, your charitable work doing magic for kids and your dog handling and your awards in magic what threw you over the top, because they want people that are well-rounded, not just nerds, No,
that's fantastic.
So
I have to ask you a question just from my own curiosity. Do you ever see a magic trick that you can't figure out?
Oh yeah. I'd be a liar if I said I didn't. Yeah. But it's funny with magicians. We'll have guest lecturers come all the time, and we'll sit in the audience and applaud. And I know 90% of the guys don't know how the guy did it, but they won't admit it. But what's really amazing, if you ever watch the show Fool Us with Penn and Teller,
yes,
I know several of the guys that went on there. And what's amazing, there's one fellow in particular that's in my head, because Michael, the father of this girl, Jolie, who I taught, he bought this guy's trick because they sell the trick. So after they perform it so many times and they want to release it to the public, they'll sell it to the general public. And it was $100 or something for a card trick. And I said, Michael, why are you buying that trick? I want Jolie to learn it. I said, Michael, this isn't what she's doing. No, I want to buy it. He bought the trick, and I looked at it, and what was amazing, because it comes with a video, and he's from France, this fellow. His name is Matthew Beach. And the thought process on how he created this effect, I said that alone was worth the $100 to see how he did it. But for me to duplicate it, I told Michael, I'm not going to put the effort in, and neither is Jolie, because it is a very difficult trick to master. Yeah. But
even they cut people in half, and then
Yeah.
You find out that there's actually somebody that's a half a person.
Yeah.
It's like, breaking the code a little bit.
Yeah.
Richard, thank you very much for joining us
you're
today
welcome.
on
You're
Route
welcome.
664, the Road
Yeah.
to Human Kindness.
For sure.
You are a kind person, and
thank
and I
you.
appreciate you being here
Can
with
I
us on
Put
the
in a
program.
shameless pitch here.
Yeah, sure.
We're
please.
having the Elks Lodge is having an open mic night this Friday, and we've got 15 performers.
Is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow night at
Okay.
7:30. It's the South Miami Coral Gables Elks Lodge. You can go to elks1676.com, or you can call me 305-992-0703. But
One
we
more
have
time with the telephone number.
nine comics and 4 magicians performing,
Okay.
and that'll be tomorrow at 7:30 at the South Miami Coral Gables Elks Lodge.
And again, the ticket or the number to
Oh, yeah.
reach. you.
Oh, by the way, admission to this is free. There is
Beautiful.
food. There is food available for sale, but all the performers are doing it for free as they do an open mic. And we just opening up our lounge. We had a flood in there, and after a year, this is the first thing we're having.
So this is at the actual lodge itself?
At the Elks Lodge, our Florida ballroom, Florida lounge, they call it.
Okay.
And that'll be this Friday at 7:30.
And the address again?
It's 6304 Southwest 78th Street. in
6304 Southwest 78th Street.
Miami.
Okay.
Correct. Thank you very
Again,
much.
thank you very much for joining us,
Thank
Richard.
you. Appreciate it.
And we're joined now by Joe Gabris. Joe, how are you today? Joe, you got your mic off? It's like one of those telephone commercials.
Hey Les, how you doing? Sorry about that.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Joe is the ambassador for the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce, and has been out talking to new potential members. Tell me a little bit about what's going on, Joe.
Well, what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to arrange a picnic and then also fishing with seniors. You know, our new designation, senior good citizens, and we want to welcome our newest member, Vincent Caristo from Paw Print. He's been doing some work with us, doing some printing. He's coming on board. I'll tell you the interesting thing that you'll find when you sit down and speak with the business owners who've started these businesses out of passion.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find out some very interesting things. Vincent, all right, he is self-taught and self-educated in this trade, and he's excelled at it for 16 years. And what I found out, he invited me to come to his place of business, and I was just completely amazed that, self-taught this trade. All right.
That's fabulous. Yeah.
I came all the way. Huh?
He's, as I think you've told me, he's very enthusiastic about what he does, and he enjoys it to the point where it's almost not work. You there?
Yeah. Listen, this guy is so filled with passion. If you don't hold him down, he'll just fly away. The interesting thing I found out about Vincent, and he told me some of his concepts, and I had to tell him, stop. Don't say that. You need to hire an accountant, and you need to hire a charitable advisor. You cannot just print that you are putting together a foundation. That doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Again, it's the amazing thing that you find about people and their passion and then their drive. Why did they get into this business? What we'd like to do is we would like to invite Vincent, if he has any time. I mean, this kid, I mean, he works like 25 hours a day in his business. Okay. I mean, that's like a passion you cannot shut off.
Yeah, that's really good. So tell me a little bit more about the picnic that you're talking about, and how do people get in touch with the chamber, and if they want to join the Chamber of Commerce and find out more about it?
Well, everything is going to be posted on our website. Everything is going to be posted also on our Facebook page. All right, we are going to be putting out flyers at our key locations, and we are going to be advertising the event. Yeah.
Okay, great.
And Vincent, by the way, Vincent is going to be very, very key in doing this with us. That's why we really, really welcome him. the foundation concept that he has, and we spoke in detail about how he came up with the concept of putting together an HS Research Foundation. It's about a peculiar ailment that's unfortunately very, very common. You don't find out these things unless you talk to somebody that's been in this. So the interesting thing, self-taught printing, he wants to put together a research foundation. I think that when you meet some of the people who've started the businesses, all right, just like our other two guests that you had on today, all right, how Mr. Delvecchio there started off in magic. I'm sure that the story is actually, it's amazing.
Yes, it is.
And the good heart starts in America, where we have the freedom to operate our own businesses and follow our own dreams. And once you get through the surface, you're like, wow, where did your concept come up with? Everybody wants to give. And this 664 concept here, how it's married with the Chamber of Commerce, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you very much for putting that out as well, Joe. And thank you for joining us this morning on Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. Chambers of Commerce are really important in the Road to Human Kindness. They help bring the communities together and our public service organizations as well. So I want to thank my guests today, Alan Chapell, songwriter, musician, attorney. Check him out on Spotify, but also on our radio program on route664.org/radio, route664.org/radio, 24/7 music and talk, and really interesting programming all week. My other guest, Richard Delvecchio. Thank you, Richard, for joining us today. And Wanda, you have a closing announcement?
Visit us on Facebook.
Visit us on Facebook, yes, and on YouTube. And have a great week. We'll talk to you again next week from the Community Newspaper Studios here in South Miami.